Right guys, welcome back to Trials Fusion. Today we're going to be looking at how to create a basic track. My tracks aren't very good, but I'm going to be showing you the basics. So if we start with just general stuff like ramps and everything, the most important thing is to make sure all of your ramps and whatever else you put in the track are on the driving line. So the easiest way to do this, once you have a ramp, all you want to do, you can have it wherever you want, is click in your right stick. That is automatically going to perfectly line it up with the driving line, so that when your driver is at that part, he won't just end up not being able to hit the ramp or anything like that. And that will make your track completable. And the next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be checkpoints and stuff, like how to end the track and everything like that. So if we go to checkpoints first, all you need to do to put a checkpoint in your track is go to the common section of the object. So you press up on your D-pad to select a new object, you go to game, then you go to checkpoint, and you want to grab one and then just move it to the driving line to get the whereabouts of where you want it. Then move it to the side so that your driver don't actually drive into it. And then you'll see there I've got a checkpoint right there. So if we quickly test the track, when we get to this bit, you don't need to do anything, like you don't need to modify it in any way. It's automatically going to work. Then all you want to do is just drive to it, and then that'll be your first checkpoint. It's best to have multiple checkpoints in each track, because it takes too long. Like if you've got like 2 minutes worth of a track with no checkpoint and someone makes a mistake right at the end, they're going to get frustrated and they're not going to like the track you've created. So put as many in as you can without going over the top. And then to end your game, because I've got somewhere there a random checkpoint just there that doesn't actually do anything now, what I've done is I've added an end event. So you press up on your D-pad for a new object, you go along to triggers and events, down to events, and there's the end event. You want to put that in. Then you want to get an area trigger, so it's also in triggers and events, but triggers, area trigger right there. And then to go to the properties, you click on the thing, you press up on your D-pad again. Then you can change the size of it, like everything you can do on hit, like what it hits, like what happens when it hits, when your rider hits it. You can enable it, you can turn it off if you want to test the track or anything. You can turn physics on, which I don't actually know what that does. But I've made it quite big because of the end of the track. And that's the end event. So what you want to do to make this work is select your area trigger, go to the properties and go on hit. And then with the on hit you select the end event, and then what happens if we test the track again, when we hit the directional force, it's going to send us flying. There we go, it finishes the track. So you don't need that stupid pointless checkpoint that's randomly down here in the middle of the runway. Right there, that is absolutely no use to us. We don't need to do anything with that. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is going to be events, and we're going to start with here with the loop. We have visible and hidden events, and we have 2 area triggers. So what these do is this ramp here, if we make it visible again quick, if we started the track and that first ramp was visible like it is now, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We wouldn't be able to complete the track. So what you want to do to make it invisible to start with is simply just click on it, go to the properties, and then uncheck the visibility box. That's going to make it so that the rider can't see it at all. So if we drive up to it quick, there you can't see it, you can't hit it or anything. And then to make it appear again, once you're going through the loop, because if you don't, you will just end up on the same ramp down here, the one that's highlighted yellow now. All you want to do is get an area trigger again, like up there, that big huge box. And you want to get a visible event, so you go to events, not the end one. You want to go down all the way to the bottom to visibility event. You put that in wherever you want to put it, wherever's easiest for you. And then you also want to get your area trigger, so you put one of them in where the rider's going to ride over. And then what you want to do is you want to select the properties of the area trigger, go down to on hit. On hit, that's going to make it visible, and then you click on the visible, you go to them properties, select your event target. That's going to select the ramp, and then that way when our rider hits this area trigger here, it's going to trigger the visibility event, which is going to then make the ramp visible. So if we remove this from the track, the same goes with the hidden one. This part of the ramp to start the loop off will be visible, and then we changed it to hidden. So to change it from visible to hidden, you go down to the second part just under enabled, then you can change it, you can toggle it between, you can have hidden or visible. So we're going to leave that hidden. Then you got your area trigger up there, because if you put that trigger down here, like where the checkpoint is roughly, then when you come in here, this ramp's going to disappear and you won't be able to complete the loop. So if we test the track, you can see that the first part is not there, and if we don't crash, when we hit the area trigger, you'll see that that part comes back. And then when we get about halfway round the loop, that first part of the loop is going to disappear. So that is events, and now the final thing we're going to be looking at in this video today, guys, is going to be physics. So you want to get the area trigger and the physics event thing exactly the same as doing the visibility events and everything else like that. And then what you want to do, this makes it a lot more fun to do at the end of your tracks. You want to go to physics tools, you want to get an area effector, you want to put it into place, you want to make sure that you're rotating it so that it goes the way you want it to go, and then you want to open up the properties. You can change the size of it, but the size don't really matter. And then you go to force settings, and then you can change the directional force. When it gets big enough, you'll see the arrow increases. Then you can do whatever you want with the force. You can just make the rider fly just ridiculous distances. So the force I've chose for this area effector is 483,500. It's just a random amount. And then when your rider hits this area trigger here, it's going to trigger the physics event on, which is the area effector, and then our rider's going to go flying straight into the area trigger up there, which ends the track. So if we go through the loop, then when we get out, hit that box, there we go, we're going to go absolutely flying. You can do so many different things with area effectors. There's so much different stuff to put into your tracks. There's like a massive variety of places you can create your tracks, and there's tons and tons of different objects and stuff you can put in. Like you can put letters, you can put primitive shapes, spheres, plates, cylinders. You can even put humongous buildings, structures, vehicles. You can do anything with them, but I don't know a lot about that stuff. I only know the basics. I've not had any experience with creating tracks before. I've done 2, but they're not very good. If you look at the highest rated tracks, my track looks like a piece of shit compared to theirs. It took me about 4 hours to make one of the tracks I created on this game, and they're not very good. So I can't really guess how long it would have taken some of the creators to actually make their tracks. But guys, that is how to make a basic track on Trials Fusion. I hope this video helped you create a track for yourself. Leaving a like on the video is always appreciated. Leave your comments if you have any further questions, and I'll try and get them done in another video. And also, if you're new to the channel, then subscribe for more content. Thank you for watching.